morning, everyone. I hope you had a good night's sleep. I know I did. Yeah, feeling a lot better today. I wanted to talk to you today about judgment. Where did that come from? When we're reading in the book of Genesis, we find that as God is going through creation for 6 days after he created everything, he said it was all good. So where's judgment come from? To God, everything is good. So where did the judgment come from? Well, we find a lot of people talk differently about the apple. Why do they call it an apple? When Adam and Eve ate the apple from the tree, there's no apple. They're using that as a symbol, but it really wasn't an apple. What was it then? God said, you can eat any tree or bush or anything that's here in the garden. You can eat all the fruit thereof, except for one. So that tree over there, you don't want to taste its fruit. Because if you do, you shall surely die. What was the name of that tree? The tree of the knowledge. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The judgment tree. But what is judgment? Come on. I'm not saying that word. Well, Ken, are you kidding me? That's where judgment first came into the scene? But what? What do you mean? Well, think about it. What is judgment? Judgment is just drawing a line between what is good and what is evil, right? I like this, I don't like that. I like what's good, I don't like what's evil. Good and bad. You like onions, which is bad. I don't like onions, which is good. You see? Just like that. That's judgment. Who invented it? Who invented it? So we know in the story of Adam and Eve that after Adam and Eve tasted from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, their eyes were opened and they started judging. Wait a minute. Now it's bad to be naked. We have to hide ourselves because we're naked. God didn't say being naked was bad. God said being naked was fine. So, what's the big deal? Adam and Eve said it was bad. God never said being naked was bad. In fact, when Adam hid himself in the garden. And the story goes that Adam heard God manifesting himself in the garden. Pretty cool, huh? Adam heard a sound. First there was nothing. He heard a sound, and then God appeared. I know. Star Trek wasn't far off, was it? Anyway, so when Adam heard God manifesting himself in the garden, God called out to Adam, saying, Adam, where are you? And Adam popped up all frightened and scared. Papa! Kind of like the Jack in the Box. Can you imagine the excitement on God's face when Adam just popped up? Surprise! It's me! Of course, God knew where he was. So Adam called out, or God called out, and he said, Adam, where are you? Adam called out and said, hey, I hid myself because I was naked. You remember what God said after that? Look in your Bible. God said, curious, who told you you were naked? Adam and Eve had been naked from this point up to this point, right? Who told you you were naked? Meaning, who told you being naked was bad? Because everything that God created in the garden was good, right? But who told you that everything was bad? Adam. Adam told him it was bad. See, when he tasted of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and you need to say that every time that you make reference to it, it is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The tree of judgment. That's where judgment started. With that incident there. Now, I like to tell the story a little bit differently, with a little bit of a deeper understanding of the world at that point in time. You see, if we are to believe that something that has always been and always will be the Alpha and Omega, and if we as individual beings are a part of that thing that has always been and always will be part of the Alpha and Omega, think about it. If God is omnipresent, God is everything, correct? And you are part of that, correct? Okay. So imagine living for trillions and 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 trillions of years. Or one day. Or 1,000 years. Same? Different? So, What if there was something as a spiritual being that you couldn't experience? You couldn't experience good and evil. Everything was good, right? You understood that there were two energies, seemed like two energies, but it was all one. But it was all different frequencies. Some of them seemed to be on the good side, some of them seemed to be on the bad side, but up until the point of judgment, it didn't matter. It is what it is. So let's say you wanted to add some excitement into your experience. What would you have to add? What would be the one thing that you could add to create randomness? A duality. Good and evil. So, the way that I like to tell my story is that Adam and Eve decided that they wanted to experience something new, something exciting, something random, something chaotic, something exciting. So they chose to taste of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, so they could start judging. And the rest is history. I'll tell a little bit deeper understanding here. Really cool story about that sometime later. But for now, we're going to stick with judgment. Judgment. So think about that. Judgment started with the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So we can narrow it down and say that that was the tree of judgment. Well, enjoy your weekend and your week. And I hope you have a really, really blessed day. And until next time, I wish you well.